What's going on, money lovers? Welcome back. So if you haven't already heard, Tesla just purchased $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. They also stated they would start accepting the cryptocurrency as payment. This makes perfect sense as Tesla is a company that is expanding globally and currency exchanges waste time and money. The company said it purchased the Bitcoin for more flexibility to further diversify and maximize returns on our cash. The news makes Tesla the first automaker to accept the cryptocurrency and soon to be the last automaker left. Did I just say that out loud? So this is definitely a very interesting move, and it works to further legitimize Bitcoin, which has been on the rise for the last decade now. Today I want to talk about whether I'm buying Bitcoin, whether I think you should be, and we're going to take a look at a few interesting things. So Dan Ives from Wedbush said that this is Tesla and Musk diving into the deep end of the pool on crypto, and it's something that's been rumored for a while. So it's interesting so far, Tesla hasn't really gone up much from this news. It's actually been going down the last couple of days. Bitcoin went up tremendously though. It was up 20% initially. So Bitcoin. So this is ARK's Big Ideas report for 2021. They release this every year. It's absolutely free. I highly recommend you give it a read. It is a pretty long read. It's over 100 pages. Well worth it, but if you don't want to read 100 pages, you're in luck because I'm here to spare you today. And I just wanted to highlight a couple portions here where they talk about digital wallets and Bitcoin to give you an idea of where Bitcoin is headed. So in China, mobile payments are 2.5 times its GDP. As you can see, digital wallets have become a global phenomenon. There's just so many. Here in the States, we have Cash App, Venmo, SoFi, Robinhood, to name a few. You've got lots of different companies popping up around the world. There's PayPal as well. In the US, digital wallet users are surpassing the number of deposit account holders at the largest financial institutions. Now, this is a dramatic shift from tradition, but it makes perfect sense because when you think of it, banks, everything about a bank is obsolete. The way you have to get money, the way you have to go physically, the way that there are physical banks when so much of this can now be done online. The banks can save money and so can the customer. Digital wallets can acquire customers for a fraction of a bank's customer acquisition costs. So this is really interesting here. Compared to the roughly $1,000 that a traditional financial institution might pay to acquire a new checking account customer, digital wallets invest only $20 thanks to viral peer-to-peer payment ecosystems, marketing strategies, and dramatically lower cost structures. This is something that got me very interested in Square a year or two ago. Square was a pioneer of this type of technology, could eventually pose a threat to the banks. We'll talk more about Square in a minute because they also own Bitcoin. So bank branch costs are rising while their utility is decreasing, as I just said. Now you might say that's great and all, what does this have to do with Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. Digital wallets, Bitcoin, it's all connected. So as you can see here, as Bitcoin's price hit an all-time high, ARK's research indicated that its network fundamentals remained healthy. This is really interesting, and take this a step further in a minute. Things are going to get pretty crazy. If all S&P 500 companies were to allocate 1% of their cash to Bitcoin, ARK estimates that its price would increase by approximately $40,000. So it wouldn't be $40,000 a Bitcoin. That's about where it stands now. So if all the S&P 500 companies decided tomorrow they were going to put 1% of their cash in Bitcoin, Bitcoin would be up to $80,000 per coin. Now just wait till you see what these numbers look like for if all S&P 500 companies allocated 10% of their cash to Bitcoin. Here's a nifty little chart showing Bitcoin's increasing acceptance and adoption. A company called MicroStrategy invested $500 million in Bitcoin back in July, August. Square just came out and said that they were going to put 1% of their assets into Bitcoin. PayPal launched crypto buying and selling services. That's something they took out of Square's playbook. Bitcoin reaches an all-time high, and now Tesla just invested $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. So this raises the question, should you be buying Bitcoin? So Bitcoin's increasing acceptance has set the stage for Ethereum and a new wave of financial experimentation. Ethereum is another interesting cryptocurrency that I'm still doing my research on, but I may end up buying some of that too. So this is what I just said earlier. According to the research, if all S&P 500 companies put 1% of their cash in Bitcoin, price would jump $40,000. Now, if all those S&P 500 companies put 10% of their cash into Bitcoin, Bitcoin's price would increase $400,000. You would 10 times your money, according to ARK research. That is the potential of Bitcoin. When you think about it, cryptocurrencies make a lot of sense, and it's a logical next step for the way commerce works. Right now, you're paying for everything digitally, but you've got this middleman, the US dollar, that really is just a big inconvenience to everything, and it's not even backed by anything anymore. It's one thing when the dollar was backed by gold, But now that the Fed's having a printing party every other month, the value of the dollar has gone, and that's only going to continue. So all the money that you have in cash is losing value. Figure inflation is about 3% a year, so there's negative 3% a year. All the cash you have sitting in the bank where it's collecting very little interest, so at 0.04 these days, 0.01 maybe if you're lucky. So you're getting nowhere, you're losing 3% a year with that. So ARK says here, we believe Bitcoin has earned an allocation in well-diversified portfolios. Our analysts suggest allocations to Bitcoin should range from 2.55% when minimizing volatility to 6.55% when maximizing returns. So I was thinking allocating probably between, depending on how bullish you are, how much you believe in Bitcoin or how skeptical you are, at least 1% and at most 10%. That's what I'm looking at for myself. I want to ensure that all of my cash and investments, at least 1% of that is in Bitcoin, because like it or not, there's just no denying anymore that the future is heading toward these cryptocurrencies. So I think this acts as a good hedge. And so I'm thinking I'm going to put between 1 and 5% of my money. That'll be my goal over time, allocate up to 5% of my total investments in cash into Bitcoin. I'm not going to go out and put 5% in it tomorrow, but I'm definitely going to work toward it and sit around at least 1%. So there's a lot of other interesting topics covered in this ARK Insights report. Again, highly recommend you check it out. Next is electric vehicles. Or if you guys want me to, if you guys would be interested in seeing a more in-depth review of this on the channel, let me know in the comments below and I can do a video where we go through some more of this. I think it's a fascinating report. Learn a lot, and it will probably help you pick some great investments for the next decade. So as I was just saying before, and this is a report by Citi, that they believe the dollar could drop 20% next year on top of the nearly 5% it's fallen this year. I don't know that it would be that extreme, but if they keep printing money, there's only one direction that the value can go. Just to give you some perspective, since the peak of the crash back in March when the pandemic was really just beginning, government relief has helped economies recover, and the dollar has fallen 12.6%. So in contrast, Bitcoin back in March of 2020 was around $6,000 a coin, and while the dollar went down 13%, Bitcoin went up almost 700%. So coincidence? Make of that what you will. I'm someone who's been skeptical of Bitcoin, so it's not something I'm going to throw 100% of my money into, but I do think it's worth allocating a small portion at least. Now, how do you buy Bitcoin? You can buy these Bitcoins directly. There's many options for that. I've bought Bitcoin through Cash App. I also own Grayscale Bitcoin, which as a user of Fidelity, I can't buy cryptocurrencies directly through Fidelity, so this is the best I can do. So it's one of the few ways if you want to do through the stock market, if you want to invest in Bitcoin through the stock market, you'd have to go this route. Grayscale Bitcoin is one option because you can't directly buy it on the stock exchange yet. So this is just a trust that holds Bitcoin. So it basically just mimics Bitcoin's price movement, as you can see, but you're paying $45.56 right now instead of $45,000 or whatever Bitcoin's at. Now I know there's a lot of people who don't like this and they think it's safer or better to buy Bitcoin directly, and I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, as someone, if the stock market is your only option, this is here. There are lots of ways to buy Bitcoin outside of the stock market. There's websites like Coinbase, BlockFi. If you guys want to learn more about this stuff and you're interested in investing in crypto, let me know in the comments below. All right, last thing. So if you haven't already, go check us out on Twitter, The Investment Club with Vinny. But I just wanted to end off with this poll here. I saw this today. I thought it was pretty cool. This chap, Dividend Seeker, posted this question, and I want to know your guys' responses in the comments below. If you had to pick a stock for the next 10 years from these categories and industries, which would it be? Here's how I would go. So these were his picks for each sector if you were to hold the stock for the next 10 years. I threw in my reply. I said, high dividend yield, I'm buying IBM. IBM, baby. Don't call it a comeback. Big tech, Tesla. E-commerce, Amazon. REIT, I'm going with RioCan. Shout out to my brothers north of the wall. It's a real estate trust in Canada I've made videos on. It's a great company. Small cap, we're going Mind Medicine, MMEDF. Mid cap, I couldn't, there's no mid cap company that really stood out to me that I was like, I have to buy and I know enough about. So I played it safe with VO, which is a Vanguard Index funds. They're great. Check them out. Mid cap, why own one when I could own them all? This thing, I checked, it's getting about 12% a year. Gambling, going DraftKings, if I had to buy a gambling stock. For dividend growth, Johnson & Johnson belongs in every portfolio. Great company. And for fintech, Square, another company who put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and through their platform Cash App, you can actually buy and sell Bitcoin. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you buying Bitcoin? Why or why not? Are you still skeptical? And give me your responses to these questions if you feel like it in the comments below. I figured that would be something interesting. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Vinny from the Investment Club, and I'll see you next time.